Hi, I'm Marky.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is the Happy Everly After podcast.
Welcome, gang.
Gang. What's up?
We need a name for our followers.
I've been calling me Everly Joe's people Everly's Army for like 5 years now.
What's up, Everly's Army?
Yeah, love that.
What to do? Today, we are talking about summer sales.
Drew's forte.
We're going to recruit all of you to do summer sales.
If you guys could just like do some summer sales and make Drew so much money, that would be great.
It's kind of like an MLM.
So, for years and years, we have traveled back and forth from Utah to somewhere else yonder. And I always get questions. They're like, wait, are you from Ohio or are you from Utah?
Could be at this point.
And it's because we travel for Drew's work. So if you guys have like listened to the other episodes, we kind of talked about our timeline and when we got married. We've been married for how long?
Almost 9 years.
Holy balls.
Almost 9 years.
That's freaking nuts.
Feels like forever.
And it feels like yesterday.
Man, time really drags.
Honey. Okay, so point
Not
of the
everyone
story.
knows what summer sales is,
Yeah,
probably, though.
honey.
Summer sales
Let's explain.
is some type of home service that gets sold door to door. So, like solar sales, security system sales, pest control, satellite TV, cleaning products like vacuums, Cutco knives. Like there's tons of different stuff that gets
On Friends,
sold
he
door to
buys
door.
Encyclopedia V.
Books, yeah. People do sell books door to door.
Encyclopedias. Joey, any friends?
So
fans
in
out there?
Utah, it's very popular in Utah.
It's
I don't
very
know how
popular
many
in Utah.
of our listeners are from Utah, probably a chunk of them. So most of you probably already know what summer sales is, but so in Utah it's very popular because you get a lot of return missionaries who come home from their missions. They want to make a lot of money in college.
They want to
get
put themselves
recruited
through school.
by a door-to-door sales company. They go out for the summers. They make money, pay for school.
They don't go into debt.
And then they kind of move on to whatever their career path is, usually after a few summers. But
Usually after a few summers, that's what guys do. But if
For
you're
us.
Drew,
for us, it's turned into more of a career.
yes.
It's kind of what
And a
just what we do.
lifestyle.
But basically, you work for the summer months. So typically, like April, May to August, middle of August, end of August. Some people do it more as like a year-round thing. You know, if you're doing solar, it's probably more of a year-round type of thing. But
And let's be clear. These are the guys that knock on your door even when it says no soliciting.
the no soliciting signs don't do jack. If you have one on your house, you may as well just take it down.
Sometimes,
You're actually probably putting more of a target
sometimes
on
it's
your
more
back.
of a motivation for these guys because they're like, oh, well, I can get them. It's fine.
It's kind of a badge of honor if you can sell someone that has a no soliciting sign.
But no, what I
You
was
have
going
it,
to
take it
say
down.
is that it's, just to be clear, summer sales, like when we're talking about summer sales, like what does Drew do for a living? What do you guys do? Why do you travel outside of Utah? Blah, blah, blah. It's because summer sales is when a salesman knocks on your door and sells you a service. That's it.
Yeah, most
So-
guys will use it as a way to get through college. They move on. They do their career path from there. Like, for us, it's turned into a career because we have made some good money doing it, and we now I kind of run teams and train and that kind of stuff just because of where it's kind of taken us. And we own a pest control branch in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you live in Cincinnati, hit us up.
What up, Cincy? We love
513.
Cincinnati. We love, if you're from Cincinnati, just know that we love you and we miss you. Like, we only live there for a couple months out of the year, but like, it's a second home and I love it there. Like, I
I'd
love
live
it
there year
so
round.
much.
I like Cincinnati.
Like, I miss it.
Ohio.
Here we
Ohio in
are in the
general is
dead of
awesome.
winter, and I'm like, just take me back to Cincinnati where it's warm and muggy and hot outside and there's food trucks and ice cream.
I like people in Ohio.
They're just so nice.
The
Okay,
Midwest.
so we'll talk about all that. So let's talk about
So how the heck did we even get into it?
yeah, how did we get into it? So, okay, so a little bit about my background is I've always been in sales. So, shocker, I talk a lot. It's fine. So, like, I was always being recruited, like in my college years. I say college years because I didn't like really go to college. I just went for like 2 weeks and then dropped out. That's a different
You're
episode.
such a quitter.
But it's because I was excelling in other jobs and I was just getting my education from other places. And so, point of the story is I was always getting recruited from summer sales guys that were like, you would do so good. Like, females, if they can do it, they can like rule this industry and like all this stuff. And so, then when I met Drew and we were like dating and talking, we kind of talked about how he had been recruited a little bit and had thought
Well, I
about
did
it.
I did an LDS mission.
Yeah.
Lots of door knocking happens on an LDS
You
mission,
kind
at
of
least
get
at the time that I was
comfortable
there
with like talking with
doing it.
strangers and
Most of the success that I had on my LDS mission was from knocking on doors. So I had mission buddies and like high school buddies and like just tons of different people that I knew that had gone out and done it and sold lots of different things, and just word gets around of like how much money they were making doing it. And for me, I just kind of like looked around at the people that I knew that were doing it, and I was like, man, if he can do it, then like for sure I can do it and make some good money. So yeah, when we started talking marriage, we just kind of started looking back into doing summer sales because our main goal was just to like buy a house off of it, and then we were gonna be done. We just wanted to get in, make some money, buy a house, get out, and then just kind of like move on with our lives. So we started just kind of shopping around
yeah. And
different
I
companies.
was working at a software company at the time in their I used to be a dental assistant and
Whoopsie.
so I was like over a team that worked with the software that worked with dentists. Sorry, that was a run on sentence, but that's just like the short version. And so I was working there, and my job was like pretty secure there.
You were making more than I was.
Yeah, like
Sugar mama.
I was like, let me take you out to dinner.
How the
He's a year,
turntables have turned.
the turntables have turned.
An
He's a
office
year younger
reference.
than me, so that's fun. So I was like older and wiser and
That.
made more money. And I was like, let me just woo you, basically. But point of the story is we got married in April.
Yep.
And then what's at the beginning of the summer? You guys know it. It's summer sales. It's May. So literally we got married and then like 2 weeks after that, me knowing that I had a job to come home to, and Drew, you were working like what was it called?
Just like an entry level job.
Yeah, just
for
like
like
something to
some
help pay for the
insurance.
wedding.
It was I before doing summer sales, I did like very like non-impressive jobs, just like warehouse jobs,
Yeah.
like entry level, like $12 an hour, like going to school full time, working full time, like work during the day for 8 hours, go to class at night for another like 3 or 4 hours, and just
And
like
paying for a
grinding
wedding,
life.
right?
And yeah, just like wasn't wasn't ideal.
So,
Which
point of
most
the
people do
story
that, so
is
no
there
judgment.
wasn't like a whole lot tying us here. Like, if any couple would get married and then just like peace out and move out of the state for a couple months, like we were kind of able to do that because, again, my job security was fine and he didn't really have like a
Like a good job.
right.
But I felt pretty confident that I was going to do pretty well
And
at it.
me too.
If you ask our
Let's
family
talk about it.
members, everyone thought that Marky would do better than I would. And honestly, like, yeah, she probably would have if she had stuck to it. Like, she's definitely more outgoing and charming than I am, for sure. But
Okay, let me paint a picture. So,
like, our
I,
family members put money on it that she would beat
yeah,
me
everyone was
in the
like,
amount of sales
Drew,
for
like,
summer.
Marky's gonna crush you in summer sales.
I was like,
Because
I hope she
I
does.
had every intention of going to do summer sales and crushing him. Like, I'm so competitive that I'm like, oh, I freaking got this. And I've been in sales for years and years. Like, this is nothing. So, um, we move out to Columbus, Ohio, and we're there for like a couple days. And the day I got there, they think that I'm freaking faking it. I'm not faking it. I used to get strep throat all the time. The day we moved there, I literally had like a flare up of strep throat. So I didn't leave the apartment for like 3 days. So I remember the guy who recruited us, who we're still really good friends with, he
Shout
was,
out Kelton.
yeah, love him.
Good
He
guy.
was like, everybody was just like, oh yeah, like she's gonna crush everybody, but you've been out here for 3 days and 2 of the days you've been sick in bed, you know? And I was like, no, I promise I'm gonna crush it. And so then I finally got better and we went out to knock doors. I had zero training, like zero
This was pest control, by the
pest
way.
control.
Like,
So knocking on
we haven't
doors saying,
clarified.
hey, I know you have bugs in your house. I know you have bugs everywhere.
This
I
was
can
in
see
Columbus,
them.
Ohio, as well.
Let's take care of that. And in the first half hour, you guys, I got not one, but I got 2 sales. So that was like pat on the back. Like I got 2 sales. Like, and we make jokes that they were creepy old men and they
They
just,
for sure were. I don't even think they actually got the service,
but,
but they bought from you,
but
sure.
they bought from me.
We
But
didn't get paid on the
this is
accounts,
the,
but
oh,
they bought from
you
you.
best believe we did.
I
I
don't think we
checked up
did.
with Kelton like 18 times.
Okay.
So
Okay.
unless Kelton lied to me, oh, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna text him later and be like, pull up the records on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
point
get
of the
that fact
story.
checked before we tell people that.
Point of the story is let me paint you a picture. So here is this woman. She has bright pink glittery fingernails. She has bleach blonde hair.
Bright pink iPad
Bright pink
case.
iPad case. It's
Bright
like
pink
glittery.
shoes.
My Nike tennis shoes were bright pink. Like I was basically summer Barbie going around being like, oh my gosh, bugs. You have bugs. Let's talk about all of them and spray your house with bug spray. So I don't really think people took me seriously. And like when I say that I was in sales, a lot of my sales history was in cell phones. Like people would come in with a problem with their cell phone and I would upsell them because I worked at a Verizon Wireless for years and years. So I am like used to people coming into me,
Warm leads.
warm leads, people coming to me
Very
being like,
warm
help me,
leads.
and me being like, oh, I can help you. And not knocking on a door and these
Not
people
cold
looking at
calling.
me like, who the freak are you? And you don't know anything about my house and me. And like thanks, but no thanks, bye. And then they'd slam the door in my face. And like, I feel like I've come really far when it comes to like people liking me or like being accepted. I feel like I like don't care as much anymore. But at the time, like it really hurt my feelings when people hated me for no reason and when people were dicks to me for no reason. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm literally wearing a shirt that says "Don't be a dick" on it. Um, I didn't plan that, but it worked out. But anyways, so I sold for a half hour. I got 2 sales. After the second sale, I went back to our car and I sat there the rest of the day and I just sobbed. And I was like, was this a mistake? Like, we just picked up and moved to Ohio and I hate this and everyone hates me and this isn't for me. And what were we thinking? And like, I thought we felt really, really good and like at peace to like come out here. And I was just like heartbroken and I felt like I was letting Drew down. And so basically, I gave you an ultimatum.
Meanwhile, I didn't mind it that much.
Yeah.
Like I was used to it after like doing a mission and all that kind of stuff and like getting the door slammed in my face talking about Jesus like wasn't it wasn't like that big of a deal for me anyways. So like we talked about it and I was like, "So what do we do?" Like as like a newly married couple and like a husband that was like trying to like take care of his wife. I was like, "So do we like go back to
And I
Utah
was
like
like,
to like not
no.
even a week in?" I was like, "Do we pack up and bounce like back to Utah or like what? Like what do
Because
you want
let's
to
be
do?"
clear, like you would have done that in a second.
I would
You would have
have
done that for
for
me.
yeah, for your sake, your happiness, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But we
So,
decided not to.
yeah.
You got a job at the mall,
AO, American
American Eagle.
Eagle, Polaris Mall, shout out. Freaking love you guys. Still friends with you on Facebook
Yeah, I finished out the summer, knocked the whole summer and
and crushed it.
like yeah, did pretty average. Like we made some good money, like enough money where it like made sense for us to go back and do it again a second summer, which is
And I
saying
always
something.
tell people that is like, I wish someone, not that we needed like a lot of convincing, but I always tell people if you're going to do summer sales once, you need to do it twice because the second year, not only can you like up your percentage, but you can like, but you have the experience under your belt and you sell so much more. Like, I think Drew has basically like doubled his numbers like every single year he's gone out.
Well, yeah,
The
for
first
like the
couple of
first
years,
like
for sure.
for like the first 4 years,
For
yeah.
like the first 17 years.
But like I will say like outside of the money, like obviously the money's been great. It's been a huge blessing for our family. Like it's set us up financially, but like I was never like business minded or entrepreneur minded or like opportunity minded before I did summer sales, before I started knocking on doors for a living. But like I will say like it opened up my eyes to like different ways that you can make money in life. Like a lot of people just think like, okay, I go to school, I go to college, I get my degree, I graduate, I get a 9 to 5, I work my 9 to 5 for, 35 years, and then I have a 401k, I retire. Like, well, and that's a great way for some people to live, but it just opened up my eyes to like, oh, there's a lot of ways to make money in the world, and it doesn't have to be the 9 to 5 life for everyone. Like anyways. So there's been a lot of blessings in our life from doing it, I feel
Yeah.
like. And we've done it ever since. We've lived a lot of cool places. We've done a lot of traveling.
And side note, my work, the software company that I was working for, they started allowing me to work from home um, over the summers. And so I was kind of their guinea pig because they wanted to kind of roll that out anyways. This was long before 2020 and COVID and all that. And
Our
so
first summer was 2014.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We need Botox.
I think I look great.
You do look great, honey. So, point of the story is it was like really easy for us to like pick up every summer. Like he would go to school and you would work like in the off season a little bit and recruit. And it is like when he made a joke that it's MLM, like it is one of those things that he does like recruit a team underneath him and he gets kickbacks for those. So like that's not a complete.
It's just like the time put in to manage and train and
Oh,
all
for
that
sure.
kind of stuff. Like, yeah. So, yeah, some people joke that it's kind of like an MLM, but like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of work that goes
But you
into
need
it.
to get paid too. And we'll
It's like
talk
any
about this
manager
later,
who
but like
manages a sales
he
team.
takes care of his team like so well. They are all so well taken care of.
So let's talk about like
Look at him not wanting to talk about himself.
where all we've lived doing it.
Okay, timeline. Do you know the timeline?
Been
Because
a
it's kind
bunch.
of all a blur to me.
We did a lot of summers in Columbus. Columbus was kind of like our second home
We
for a
love
lot of years.
Columbus, Ohio.
Urban was actually born.
Urban was
in
born in
Columbus
Columbus, Ohio.
in 2016.
Okay,
at Ohio
so
State's
2014,
hospital.
we were in Columbus.
2015, we were in Columbus. 2016, we were in Columbus. That's the summer Urban was born.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a crazy summer. We did not
Crazy.
plan to have a kid during the summer.
It was
months.
like, we
That's
don't
like the
want
busy
a
time of the year.
baby during the summer because we want to be home in Utah, have our friends and family around us to like help us with the baby when the baby comes. We should probably start protecting against pregnancy. And then we found out we were pregnant and he was born smack dab in the middle of the freaking summer.
Yeah. Shout out to our family who helped out with that.
Yeah,
summer.
our moms came out and visited.
And your sister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She drove up.
So 2017, we mainly were in Columbus. We went a few different places in 2017. That was my best summer I've ever had. I sold 1,000 accounts that summer myself. But majority of it was Columbus. We did a little bit in Virginia Beach that summer. We did a little bit in New Jersey that summer as well, which was fun for Marky.
Yeah, I loved it.
I'm not much of an East Coast guy. No offense to anyone who is on the East Coast listening to this.
Well, it's not even
but
like an offense. It's just
it's
we
just like a
all
faster
know
pace of living
that
and-
people from the East Coast are like so direct. They're not rude. They're not being rude at all.
No.
They're just like so direct and so to the point, and that's just like their mentality. And so to like knock on their door and then be like, "What the hell are you doing on my doorstep, bro?" Like that's just the way they talk, type of thing. But so that's like how I would explain the East
It was
Coast.
cool though. It was cool to be close to New York and
Yeah, Urban and I just explored. I was pregnant with
Some
Everly
cool
at the
spots.
time. We like went to Carlos's Bakery.
that's the
all
summer
that
we
stuff.
found out that we were having Everly.
Yeah.
We actually found out about all of Everly's heart defects like during that summer, like
Yeah.
July or
Yep.
June or July of that summer. So that summer was actually kind of crazy. Lots of different things that happened that summer. But 2018, we did majority of our summer was in Minnesota that summer.
Oh, don't
But we
even
also
get me started on
spent-
Minnesota. Minnesota.
Minnesota's awesome.
It is freaking awesome.
We love
You guys
that
have a
summer.
hidden gem of a state up there in Minnesota. and we
Minneapolis.
love you.
We lived in Savage, Minnesota.
Savage, Minnesota. Shout out to Savage and the personal trainers there and the Lifetime Fitness
Lots
there.
of cool people up there.
Oh, they're just
Lots
the
of
best.
lakes. It was very,
It was beautiful.
very cool.
The best
Probably
lobster
different during
mac
the
and cheese
wintertime.
I've ever had in my entire life was in Minnesota. And that is, I am telling you, when Drew says, "What's the yummiest thing you've ever eaten in your life?" I literally say, "Oh, that lobster mac and cheese from that one little restaurant."
Yeah, that summer we also spent a little bit of time in Florida and then like a little bit of time in
Milwaukee.
Wisconsin, like Milwaukee, yeah.
Yeah.
And then really from there out, we've spent every summer thereafter in Cincinnati. That's 2019 is when we opened our branch
And
in
the reason
Cincinnati.
why it was like Columbus, Virginia, New Jersey, Minnesota,
We weren't
Savage.
really tied down to
We
one
weren't
location
tied down.
in specific.
And Drew was also kind of getting a feel for if he wanted to open a branch with the company that he was knocking doors with. And so he was kind of like putting feelers out to be like, how do I
Different
like this
markets.
area? How do I like that area? And so
Every
that's kind of
market's
why
a
we
little bit
moved around
different.
a little
The-
bit.
The people that you talk to are, excuse me, are different. And yeah, but from 2019 until like present, we've spent our summers in Cincinnati.
it's
So
so
we've spent
funny
4 summers as of now.
That we like
going to
traveled around
Cincinnati.
so much, and then we ended up smack dab an hour and a half away from Columbus.
Well,
Like,
we loved Ohio so much.
we really do.
But I've also
Um,
sold in like Louisiana, Idaho,
Yeah.
California, New Mexico. Lots of different
Those
places.
are just, we didn't move there. He just tried them out.
Yeah.
So, he ended up opening a branch with the pest control company that he's been knocking doors with the last freaking decade. He opened a branch a couple years ago in Cincinnati, and that's why Cincinnati is like our second home. It's because we literally go back to the same place every single summer. We love it so much. I have
We live
friends
in the
there.
same place.
We have the same like
Same
neighbors
park,
the last
same
couple years.
Summer camp.
The same teachers at Lifetime Fitness, the same like childcare workers at the Lifetime Fitness. They all love our boys so much and care about
it's
them.
awesome out there.
Anyways, so we love it. So
Lots of fun things to do out there too. Like,
Yeah.
if no one's ever been out there, like, they've
Yeah,
got
it's like
awesome
Cincinnati,
amusement
like,
parks.
why do you go there? It's like Cincinnati's a hidden gem too because there's like so much fun stuff to do there.
Yeah, good place.
So some frequently asked questions is what do we do with all of our stuff and what do we do with our like furniture and stuff like that? Can you explain that, honey?
Early on, when we like first bought our first house and was still doing this, we actually would put up our house on Airbnb during the summer times just to, it was sitting empty already anyways, and if we could make some extra money off of it, then sweet, enough to like pay our mortgage and that kind of stuff. Because usually when we move for the summers, like we'll get an apartment, like a short-term lease apartment, and just like rent furniture while we're out there. So anyways, for a few years we Airbnb'd our house while we were gone and just made some extra money that way. Marky has told me that she's not cool with that anymore.
Pause. That was our
Which is kind of a bummer.
honey, no. That's like not I don't mind. I didn't mind it with our first house cuz our first house that we bought was so janky and terrible. And you know
But
how
we
like
would leave all of our furniture when we just pack up all of our like personal stuff and throw it in the basement,
Pause.
lock the door.
But the reason why I have a problem with it now is because we're in a home. So when you're building a home and you're newlyweds and you're like broke and you can't afford any of the upgrades, that's how our first home was. And it had all sorts of problems. It flooded all the time. The builders were always in there doing warranty stuff because like rain would come in through the windows and there'd be a crack down a wall. And it was so janky and gross. So
We
every
had awesome
summer,
neighbors though. Shout out
we-
to our Cresthaven neighbors.
so many shout outs this episode. But we loved Lehigh. That was in
Yeah.
Lehigh, Utah. We lived behind the Cabela's in Lehigh. So, point of the story is I'm really not that high maintenance. That first house was so like dumpy and had so many issues already. So us leaving for a couple months in the summertime was fine because I knew that we weren't going to live there forever. It was already just kind of gross and dumpy anyways that I was like, whatever, we can rent it out. It's fine. Like our couch was pleather. Like I can wipe it down with a freaking Clorox when we get home. It's fine. So yes, that house we left and rented out. Our current house we don't rent out during the summer. Yeah. So anyways, go on with whatever you were going to say. I just had to interject so that people weren't thinking that I was so high maintenance and bougie.
I already answered your question. You asked what we do with all of our stuff.
Oh.
Now we just leave our stuff here.
We just leave our stuff here.
And just go.
So what do we pack?
Out there.
What do we pack when
because we know
go?
That Cincinnati is the place we're going to be going every year. I have an office space out there.
And we just like leave a couple bins out there with like kitchen
stuff and our toiletries.
And when we say kitchen stuff, we're talking like 4 forks, a couple knives. Like it is like we live like college students every summer. It's so fun. We can
basically just get on a flight and be out there and like have everything we need.
Yes.
To be out there.
But it took us, 6 years to get that. Like another thing that I want to bring up, because we get asked this all the time, is furniture. So like when we go out there for the summer, we rent a couple apartments for us,
for all the cells,
and for all of Drew's team. And sometimes they're married, sometimes they're not. It depends on like the situation. But we always rent out a chunk of apartments. And because we're renting out a lot of apartments at the same time, we normally don't have to do like a whole year lease. They normally let us do like a 6-month lease or month-to-month lease. I don't know the ins and outs, but I'm just saying, because people are going to ask this. Sure. So then what about furniture? We rent furniture when we get out there. So when we get out there, the apartment is empty except for we have like beds, a dresser, a couch, a chair, a dining. It's furnished. Yeah. Washer and dryer is normally there from the apartment complex. So it's basically like it's so fun because it's just like college years. Like you can just like go into this apartment.
More simple for sure.
You have a couple of your kitchen necessities. You have your bathroom necessities. And it's summertime. So it's like you're not wearing like full face makeup every day. Like normally it's just sunscreen, some mascara, and you're out. For me anyways, it's just like very minimal. And same with the boys. Like the boys, it's just packing a toothbrush and jammies and underwear. That's it. They repeat the same like clothes like every day, like every other day. So we really don't pack a lot. Like we pack suitcases to move for 2 or 3 months out of the summer. And can I tell you, it is so fun and we love it. And like,
it's not for everyone though.
It's not for everyone. But like Van, who's 3, like he's too young to really understand why we do that, obviously. But Urban's finally to the age
loves where he'll be like, oh, like was that thing in Ohio or was it in Utah?
Like we listened to a song the other day and we're like, how do you know this song? And he's like, we listened to that while we were in Ohio. And I'm like, what the freak? Like, how do you remember that? And so, and he loves it. And Urban is 6 years old and we've done this every summer.
He actually has friends out there.
He has a ton of friends out there.
He sees all the time and plays with, and yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically summer sales in a nutshell. A long nutshell, but that's the life we live.
And we love it.
Now things are starting to kind of change where like our kids are getting older and like life is changing where now the branch is to a point where like it'll be more realistic for me to like manage it from afar and not have to be there permanently.
Like he doesn't necessarily have to like be there to like take care of his guys. He doesn't necessarily have to be there to physically knock doors.
Managers in place and things like that. So who knows what'll happen this summer. The plan is to be in Utah for majority of this summer, but
which if you can see my face, I'm frowning because it's just like, it's like we did it. Like we finally got to that point where we don't have to leave every summer. But we just love like traveling, and I'm such an adventure whore that I'm like, get me out of Utah. Like, let's go do something fun and let's go see something new. And so, and I have friends in Cincinnati that I talk to on the phone all the time because they are like true friends. And it like, it quite literally breaks my heart to think like I'm not going to just like see them in 2 months. You know what I mean? And so it's crazy. And this lifestyle, like he said, it's not for everybody, but it has been so fun for us. And we've learned so much. And I've learned that like you can live off of nothing. Like I tell Drew all the time, he doesn't believe me, but like I tell Drew all the time that I could be one of those like mini house people. I could sell, honey, I could sell all my shit. All of it. I could get rid of all of it and travel.
No way.
Yes. Test me. I could do it. I could do it. Point of the story
Nope.
is
It's
in
too
the
small.
summer.
You need your personal space too much to like be stuck in like a tiny
Yeah, but my
little
personal
house with
space
our-
could like
with
be
our
out yonder
kids.
in the woods reading a book. Like
our kids freaking get under your skin like in the house that we're in now.
I
Like,
know, but honey,
imagine,
there's
like,
ways to
a
do
third
that.
of the space.
I
And they're
know.
trying to like wrestle around and play with toys, and they're like
Yeah,
in your grill.
go outside.
Like there's not a chance.
Go outside and like rough
No
up
way.
your knees and like rub
No.
some dirt on your
And we'd
scratch.
have to homeschool. Like there's no way.
You
There's
guys,
no way.
he thinks that I can't, but it's literally like that is like I want to just do it.
Nope.
Like I would just love it.
Not down.
Could you guys do it? Like could you? I want to know. I want to know if people could do that. Or if I'm just like
It would be
crazy.
different. That would be different.
Yeah.
And like kids need roots. Like kids need a routine.
But honey,
and structure.
they're
And, like, friends and like sports teams and like their classes.
but their
and,
roots
like,
could
groups
be
and
literally
clubs
like
and-
the river out back and
That
like
is
getting their
not the same. That is not the same.
it's not the same, but it's a different way to like get that education and to get those roots.
no.
It's a different way of learning. Honey,
It
don't
is
you
a different
judge
way of
people that
learning, but they need friends and groups and sports teams.
Yep, and the
clubs
people
and
at the
all
RV park,
that.
those people
No.
at the RV park will love to freaking have them
Yeah,
around.
sure.
Anyways, this is an ongoing debate in our house. Point of my story is we don't need all the things. Like in the summer, I literally have none of my earthly possessions. I just have a couple things, and I'm so happy. I am like so good to just like play in the park all day, just like go to the swimming pool, hang out with my boys, and I just love it so much.
Well, I think that's pretty much.
I think
the
we should
end
talk for
of
another 45
the
minutes.
Episode. So, leave us some reviews. Honestly, like it's good for me to hear some feedback.
Yeah, we need
Some of our
feedback.
friends and family members were like telling me over the weekend.
They're like, "Where's your
"You
energy,
need to,
bro?"
like liven up a little bit. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like not in my wheelhouse, but yeah, I'll try my best. So leave us a review. Let us know like topics you guys want us to talk about, or like
Sure.
things that would be better for us to do, or like how we can be better.
Or like if you hate the way I breathe into the microphone.
We're still learning how to do
We're
this.
still learning, guys.
We'll look back
And thank
and be
you
like,
for being
"Wow,
patient with us.
crap, that was bad."
But seriously, like, thank you for being here and thank you for listening. And if you have any questions about summer sales, let us know. And Drew will just recruit you and you can, like, make so much money and stuff.
Yeah. If you're a college person interested in it, that's usually the demographic of people that where their life circumstances allow them to try something like that. So
And if you're watching on YouTube, read my shirt. It says, Don't be a dick. Goodbye.
See ya.